Well, hello everyone and welcome to another very exciting episode here on the MIgardener channel. Today's episode is going to be on harvesting asparagus. It is a cold, blustery spring day, but you cannot tell asparagus when it's time to come up because it'll come up when it's ready. And right now is the time that we got to be harvesting because this whole bed that we planted is ready. And I was so shocked because we planted asparagus here the very first time last year. These are 2-year crowns, so this is the 3rd year. So technically you can harvest, but you typically want to wait at least 2 years after transplanting. But when I saw the size of these crowns here, the soil we have is super healthy. So when I saw the size of the crowns, it was no surprise to me why they look so healthy and why we can harvest this year. Now the trick to harvesting is you do not want to harvest anything that's thinner than a pencil. So if it's thinner than a pencil, you want to let it go because it's going to come back stronger and you're not going to risk harvesting and killing the plant. So there's a few like this one right here and this one that they are a little too small for me to harvest. So I'm going to wait on these ones, but this one right here, I'm going to get a little bit bigger, maybe in the middle of the week or next week, come back and harvest it because believe it or not, asparagus grows very fast. Asparagus will grow about 1 inch every 2 days, so about a 1/2 inch a day. And so you really cannot afford to leave it for very long. And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go through and harvest all the ones that are ready to be harvested and bring you along for that. I'm really excited. I had no idea that they'd be this healthy. All right, so we are going to be harvesting these two here. These ones are just a little bit too thin. They're about that size of a pencil, but we're gonna let them go because they're just a little too scrawny for me to feel safe harvesting. But what you wanna do when harvesting asparagus is you do not wanna cut below soil level. It's very tempting to get that extra, 1/4 of an inch of asparagus, but if you damage the crown, you're gonna risk it rotting and dying. So I always harvest just a little bit above soil level, so there's no risk of that happening. And again, we're harvesting only the ones that are thick. And ideally you'd want a little bit sharper of a knife too, but because we're out in the garden, I don't want nice knives in the garden because that's just typically does not end up well. So I'll go sharpen this one after we're done, but it's still doing the trick. And some of these ones are absolutely beautiful. I mean, like this one is just huge. Wow, look at that. It's awesome. We're gonna get a nice haul here. Now, originally we planted 50 plants in this bed, and I was worried that it was a little bit too close because generally you don't want to plant asparagus any further than 1 every 2 feet because of how they grow. But I said, you know what, heck with it. I'm going to test out my theory. And my theory about planting a lot in a close space is that the healthier you make the soil, the closer you can plant your plants. And I really want to try to live by that theory, because I think that's really where we need to be going, is that traditional spacing and traditional farming practices have always kind of guided what we do in the home garden. And we're very much trying to kind of break the original way of thinking and say, look, there's a much more efficient way of growing food. And that's why I wanted to show everyone that it was possible. And I don't think anyone is thinking that these are too crowded because they look absolutely great. Now you're probably wondering how wide are these beds? This bed right here is 4 feet by 15 feet. And so it's a nice bed for growing asparagus. We wanted a bed that we could easily harvest from, but also was kind of set away because at the time we would till in this bed here. So kind of shoved it off in the corner, and I do somewhat agree doing that, or I do somewhat disagree with doing that in hindsight, because it's a little difficult to reach the ones in the back there. But we manage. That, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that. That is a big, big asparagus for just year 3. Oh my goodness, that is unheard of. So there you go. There is a huge bundle of asparagus, easily 3 pounds. This is really nice and fresh. You're not gonna beat the quality. It's not dry like it is in the store, and it hasn't been shipped hundreds of miles. It's right fresh right outside your door. So I encourage you all to grow asparagus. If you have not yet seen our How to Grow Asparagus guide, I'll post a link to that. And also, if you want to learn how to start it from seed, I'll post a link to that. So this is what you can expect if you follow those growing guides and those planting guides. And I would strongly encourage you to do so, because I'll tell you what, it is a beautiful plant. And you can also, if you get some really fresh stuff, little wipe off on the pants. It's really good raw, especially if you add it to a salad. But it's awesome sauteed up with a little butter as well, sauteed with olive oil, wrapped in bacon. There's so many different things you can do with it. So I'll catch y'all later. This is Luke from the MIgardener channel, hoping you all are growing bigger going home. See ya. Bye.